Dragon Nest. Just listen to the name. How cool is that? Dragon Nest used to be the go-to game for me back in the day. Back in the day, of course, being maybe 5, 6 years ago. Back when the game actually still had a community behind it. I mean, it was the go-to stress reliever for me. I, of course, recently have tried to go back to it to see if you can really go back to an old game or a game that quote unquote died. I've always been wondering, like, I've seen Dragon Nest come out with patches and updates, but I've never really heard anything about it. But given I'm pretty much the one who discovered the game, basically off of one of those links on, you know, Miniclip, and then there would be a Dragon Nest link, and just like, join the battle. And I'm like, okay, this is pretty fucking cool. I'm out here playing Miniclip pool, and I decided to, you know, click the link. Back then I wasn't aware that those links weren't, you know, the best of choices, but it led to a pretty good game. So I won't regret that at all. But I've recently tried to go back into Dragon Nest. Here I'm trying to play it, and I'm just trying to adjust the aspect ratio just so I can see better. Because for some reason, upon default launch, it's not at the correct screen resolution. Oh, but what do you know? Heaven forbid that the game crashes on me. I'm just unable to play anymore. I have to reboot it and bring it back up. Crashing is nothing new for Dragon Nest, but Jesus Christ, how inconvenient that is. It's not fun. I mean, imagine playing any game, any other game, or imagine Dragon Nest is pretty much done alone all the way up until max level play, or I played it alone. I mean throughout this, because there was no one on, but it's pretty much done alone all the way up until max level play. And even if you do get max in-game gear, you can still sort of do it alone. But the game just continuously crashes, and it's always had crashing problems. I was trying to do a little bit of research back to see what happened to this game, because actually Dragon Nest used to be under Nexon. The whole reason I'm even looking into any of this is because recently MapleStory 2 came out, and of course MapleStory is also under, or MapleStory is under Nexon. And I was just thinking maybe Dragon Nest could maybe go back and grovel, or maybe Dragon Nest has a chance to get a second game published, or a reboot of some sorts, maybe, hopefully, right? Apparently, Nexon back in 2016 had to drop Dragon Nest purely off of just a lack of player base. I believe it was a little bit more. Around the end of this video, I did get to ask someone what did they think about Dragon Nest and how weak the community was. I mean, it's literally empty. They were saying there's a rough estimate of maybe 40, 60, or 100 players, and that's highballing. That's a real strong. I mean, you're wanking the fuck off of Dragon Nest if you're saying there's 100 people on it daily. I like it every time I get in or look at the global chat, quote unquote. There might be like 2, 3 people. So 100's a big number. That's a yikes number. I would say there's 100 people on all regions of Dragon Nest, and that's ridiculous. Dragon Nest used to be filled to the brim with people playing it, but I guess good things never really don't last that long, you know. But regardless, this game used to be like the go-to game for me. The combat was the greatest. I haven't found another MMO with combat as fluent as this game, with dungeons as interesting. There's boss battles, or I mean, at the end of each dungeon, there's a boss to the dungeon or whatever. I don't know what you would call it, and they used to be pretty unique and interesting. Like this one here, it's a giant spider that looks like it's, I don't know, a tick in someone's hair, like a giant mutant bed bug. That's awesome. That's it. And the music for the fights were pretty unique and awesome too. Although grinding, they did get repetitive. So no one really played Dragon Nest with sound on. Maybe, just like sound effects so you can hear your abilities and time your abilities correctly. But like, I play all my games muted. I think maybe Dragon Nest may have been the reason why I play my games muted, because I don't like hearing the same thing over and over and over and over again. It gets too ridiculous. And of course, with Dragon Nest, I was able to find some forum posts saying things like it's virtually Nexon's fault that Dragon Nest didn't really evolve. At first, I thought it was Identity Games. That's the actual developer of the game. Identity Games wasn't able to fulfill any of the needs that the community had, like bug fixes or just general actual problems with the game, like problems that needed a patch, like next day type shit, like honestly. And like looking at these old forums back when Nexon originally announced that they were dropping Dragon Nest and Identity Games was going to have to fend for themselves, Identity Games will do a better job than Nexon ever did. And to be honest, it doesn't even look like Nexon stopped hosting. The only thing that really changed is how you log in. I mean, you don't really see the Nexon logo anymore. That's it. Like Nexon wasn't lying when they said the player base was dropping. Was like being a Nexon publisher really bringing in, however many people? And clearly they're still coming out with updates and patches, but I feel like there might be like one or two people behind the computer over there typing all of this out. Over here, I'm looking at the currency rate for the marketplace, the in-game marketplace. They want to charge you $30 for a costume. You can't get it any cheaper, although the costume doesn't exactly equal $30. But you still have to put out at least $30 just to get the right or cheapest amount to, trade for it. And if you're gonna get the costume, you may as well get the dragon eggs that come with that costume set, because the whole reason in getting a costume ultimately is to increase your stats in the game. They all increase your stats like to a crazy degree. Like it's wild how much the pay to play was or still is in this fucking game when no one's here to play it. You can spend $30 to $300 on the game, and I did eventually end up meeting someone or finding one person online who actually responded to my comments, and I was just trying to ask them, like, what do you think about the game? Like, how many people are still here? And and I was just so surprised when I was getting these, oh yeah, this roughly about 100 people, 160, 100 of us still on here. And I'm like, dude, there's not 100 people. There's literally 4 people online now. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt and say that there's 12. And I really just ended up having a conversation with this person, trying to figure out what did they think about the game. And of course they said that it's pretty much Identity and Nexon that never really responded to anything. Just the publisher and the developer not putting forth enough effort to do what the community actually needed. And to be honest, that could be a range of things. To be frank, the community could have needed a lot. Like, there's a lot of stuff that could have been done to help out the community. Like, there's just such a lack of communication, a lack of customer support, there weren't any bug fixes. I'm still getting the same bugs that I was getting back in 2015. 2015, I'm getting the same bugs going on 2019. You're fucking kidding me. That doesn't make sense, dude. That's wild. And even then, back in the day, there used to be server rollbacks. So just incompetent shit. Like I would ask the person, and the list would just go on and on. And I even found some old forums, just people saying the same thing. Like there's just no support. Like it's almost as if the community or the developers just don't care. It's not even one of those situations where the community doesn't want to, support the game itself, but it's just barren. It's a wasteland at this point. And I honestly just don't know what to do from something like that. It's a wasteland. I just checked the marketplace to see if the game really is empty. And just to put this in perspective, I saw one item in the marketplace for the assassin class, one of the most popular classes in Dragon Nest. That means only one person is selling an item for the most popular class in Dragon Nest. I just want that to rest on your tongue for a little bit. Just think about that. A game that's supposedly supposed to have 100 to 30 to 60 people or however fucking many, and there's only one item in the shop being sold. The game's literally dead. You can't earn any money anymore because there is no marketplace. You can't sell or make money doing anything in the game anymore. There's no player base. So, and I was again, when I was talking to the other person here, I was just trying to explain why I can't even come back to play the game. Like I was just trying to like why are you still on it? Like I get that you're still having fun, and you know what? I'm not mad at that. I actually honor that. But me, I cannot come back to this game. There's no reason. The game's dead. Like there's nothing going on here. The game's just gone for me. A game where I can't gain any money or just gain in level or gain in experience or even play the in-game nests. The in-game nests are the max level quests or max level dungeons that you do once you finally reach max level. You've been grinding for maybe a week. You've grinded day in, day out for about a week. It doesn't even take it honestly doesn't even take a week to get the max level. Honestly. Maybe at most a week, but you can do that in about 4 days, get the max level. And just say you do it, you get back on, and you see that no one's there to party up with you. You can't do the in-game dungeons alone. How are new players supposed to play the game? So honestly, the game's gone. At this point, the game's dead. And I did meet another person who seemed to be new to the game, or at least from my perspective. Someone's still on it. He said here that his mom introduced him to the game, and I'm like, oh wow, like how long ago was this? Like I'm trying to pinpoint. So is there really a new player base? But he even said he doesn't even know when he started playing. So that even goes to show to me that maybe he started playing back when the game died. I have no clue. I honestly didn't even get to investigate any further because the game crashed in the middle of the conversation. So I can't play the game anymore. And I guess moral of the story, I don't even know. Like fuck some of these developers out here coming out with these games. Fuck the publishers, fuck the developers. Don't even get me started on Terraria. Don't even get me started on Fallout 76 and Bethesda. That's something in and on itself. It just doesn't make sense. If the community's putting forth the effort, why isn't the publisher or the developers at least putting forth an equal or more amount of effort into the game? You would always assume that the developers would be the ones putting out the most amount of effort to try and get people into their game so they can make more money ultimately. At the end of the day, that's the only thing that they're really going to care about is just making some more money. And hey, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with getting a little bit more in your pocket. I need some too. And to be honest, I've been thinking maybe I'm just gonna have to be the one to make the next Dragon Nest. I don't know. But at this rate, there's no way that I can go back to this trash. But I do miss it. And I'm glad I was able to play it for what little chance that I did get to play it and see the state it's in. But that's all. That's all for me. That's enough of this shit. Over and out.